Hello, Mario! How to do math. Solve a linear equation. Hello, Mario. In this video, I'm going to take a very simple concept of solving a linear equation and just to try and show you how to do it as simply as I possibly can. However, it might not be exactly what you want, so please feel free to ask questions as comments or get back to me any way you can, just to let me know if there's little bits you don't understand or bits you'd like further clarification on. So let's get to the large screen and let's just have a look. And here we go. So the linear equation. This is probably what we call the standard form of the linear equation, where y can be a number, m can be a number, and c can be a number, and typically x is what we call the variable or the thing that we're wanting to find out. And this is y equals mx plus c. It pays to memorize this little formula for the linear equation. So why is it called a linear equation? Well, linear refers to, you can see the first four letters of it are the words line, and linear means to do with lines. So it is called a linear equation because it defines the graph of a straight line. So if we have an equation in this form and we plot all of the points for different x's, those points will all fall on a straight line, and this will be the equation of that line. This concept comes in further on in maths, or you may have studied it already, but yes, that's why they're called linear equations, because they define a line. So y equals mx plus c. So in these following equations, I'm going to ask you to try and identify m, c and y. So let's have a look at the first one. So we've got 2x plus 4 equals 6. So you can see there that the m is what we call the coefficient of the x. It's right there next to the x. So in this case, m is 2. The plus 4 is that, so in this case c would be 4, and you can see the y in this case here would be 6. So m equals 2, c equals 4, and y equals 6. Let's have a look at another one. So this is slightly different, but you can see there we've got a 6 in the m position, but we've got a negative 3. So c would be negative 3 in this case, plus negative 3. And the y, we've got negative 9. So let's just see how that goes. Yes, I think everything agrees there. And let's just have a look at another one. Negative 5x plus 7 equals negative 3. So again, we've just got different numbers, so you can see that the coefficient in front of the x in this case is negative 5. So m would be negative 5. Plus c would plus 7. C would be 7, and the y in the y position negative 3. Let's just check that. Yes, m equals negative 5, c equals 7. Because it's plus 7, we don't need to put a sign, and y equals negative 3. So let's have a look at some more. Okay, these ones are going to be slightly different. So we've got y equals x plus 4 equals 10. So we can see that there doesn't appear to be any coefficient of x. However, what we find here, of course, is that we can always put a 1 in front of the x. 1x is the same as x. So we could say that m is 1 in this case. C is plus 4, y is 10. And that's what we've got. So where there's no coefficient or anything in front of the thing, we can always, just multiplying things by 1 doesn't change a thing. So we can always assume that there's 1 there. So that's slightly tricky. Now, 4x equals negative 8. So what have we got here? Well, we've got a m in front of the x, or we've got a number in front of the x, 4. So m equals 4. And in the other side of the equals, we've got negative 8, which would be the y, but there's no c. However, we can add a 0 to anything. It makes no difference. So I think what we'll find is that in this case, c equals 0. So we've got m equals 4, c equals 0, and y equals negative 8. Let's just do one more. Okay, 6 minus x equals negative 3. Well, things are not quite in the same order, but I think we can see there that the coefficient of the x could be 1, but negative 1. And then the c could be plus or positive 6. So we could rearrange this equation to be negative x plus 6, in which case we'd get m equals negative 1, c equals plus 6, and y equals negative 3. And that's exactly what we reckon. Alright, so now it comes to solving them. So what does it mean to solve these equations? Well, we should remember that the linear equation, first of all, another way that we know that there's a linear equation is because the x has no power is shown for the x. We could show a power of 1 because anything to the power of 1 just stays the same. So we don't need to put the 1 there. But so any equation with just x to the power of 1 is a linear equation. It will define a line of some sort. So in this case here, there's one variable, which is x. And to solve it, we can find out what there is one unique value of x that will fit that equation. So what we're essentially trying to do is, we could talk about this as say that we are trying to rearrange the equation in a sense, and just to get x on its own to find out what x is. So looking at this, we can see that we've got 2x plus 4 equals 6. And I would point out at this point, even if you can see what the answer is, you can see there that x, what the value of x might be, you run through the process, because it's the process that's important here, how you do that. So if we were to add or subtract or take away 4 from here, that would give us 2x on its own. So if we take away 4 from there, and provided this is an equal sign, so this statement is true. So if we take away 4 from this side and take away 4 from that side, it'll still stay balanced and true. So let's see, take that strategy, take 4 from both sides. So how does that look? Well, here you can see we've got 2x plus 4 minus 4 equals 6 minus 4. And you can see here that the plus 4 minus 4 is going to be 0. And that's the very reason why we took 4 away, so that this would become 0. And then we've got 6 minus 4. So let's get all that sorted out. And we do the math, and we find that 2x equals 2. I don't want 2x, I just want 1x. So if 2 of them equals 2, what do? Well, I can, if I divide that by 2, that'll give me x on its own. Divide both sides by 2. Now I can see the answer there. I can see where this is leading. And so can you, I hope. But continue with the process at this stage, so you get an understanding of the process. So 2x divided by 2 equals 2 divided by 2. Let's do the math. X equals 1. So x equals 1. We can always substitute back in the top equation as well. So we can say, well, if x equals 1, 2 times 1 is 2, plus 4 is 6. That's all true. All right, so let's move on to the next one. 6x minus 3 equals negative 9. So we identify that this is a linear equation. X to the 1 power, it's in the form y equals mx plus c. And we've got a negative 3 here, which we want to, let's see if we could get rid of that. And I'm thinking we could get rid of that by adding 3 to both sides. Let's do the math. Put that in, and you can see negative 3 plus 3, add, will make that 0. And we can see we get 6x equals negative 6. I don't want 6 x's, I just want 1 x. So I'm going to divide by 6. Divide both sides by 6. Let's do the math. And we get x equals negative 1. We could give that a try. 6 times negative 1 is negative 6. Minus 3 is negative 9. That's all true. And let's have a look at the next one. Okay, negative 5x plus 7 equals negative 3. Negative 5x. It's this plus 7. We deal with the pluses first and just try and get x on its own. So I'm thinking, in this case, I just want to take 7 from both sides. Let's do the math. Plus 7 minus 7 is 0. And remember, what you do to one side, you must do to the other. Let's do the math. Minus 5x equals negative 10, or negative 5x equals negative 10. I don't want negative 5. I want x on its own, not negative 5 times. So I'm going to divide both sides by negative 5. Negative 5x divided by negative 5 will just give me x. That's why I divided by negative 5 in the first place. Negative 10 divided by negative 5, of course, will give us x equals negative 2. Let's see how that works out. Negative 5, substitute negative 2 for x, is 10. That's not working out, does it? X equals negative 2. Oh, it's 10 plus 7. No. That is not working out at all. Negative 5x plus 7 equals negative 3. Negative 3. Oh, I can see there that that should be plus 2. So let's fix that up. Sometimes things don't always go according to plan. So let's go here, and this here should be 2. Just as well we did our check, isn't it? Like that there. Okay, and let's get back to the current slide. So we get x equals 2, not negative 2. Now let's try it back in here. 5 times negative 5 times 2 is negative 10, plus 7 is negative 3. Now the mistake that I made there was I went, I got that as negative 2, and it should have been plus 2. Don't forget, if you're unsure of your additions, you can always use your calculator. So we could have gone negative 10. You should be able to do these in your head. Divided by negative 5 equals 2. So there's always the calculator there. If you're unsure, you can always check. Okay, so that was a little unexpected problem there, but we have sorted it out. There we go. It's all done. All right, so let's see if we can solve this one and get it right first time. Now, so we've got x plus 4 equals 10. Now, I'm pretty sure you should be able to see the answer here. The question is using the process to get it. So we want to go plus 4. We need to get rid of the plus 4. So take 4 from both sides. Let's put that all together like that, and what we get is x equals 6. It's all done and dusted. 6 plus 4 is 10. Not a problem. Linear equation, very simple. Okay, next one. 4x equals negative 8. So there's nothing to add. We've got the x's on their own, except we've got 4 of them. So what are we going to do with that? Well, divide both sides by 4. Let's have a look at the maths. X equals negative 2. 4 times negative 2 is negative 8. Almost certain. Okay, and then that brings us to the last one, which is a little bit tricky. It's not quite in our format, but we can see here that we've got 6 minus x equals negative 3. We want to get the x on its own, and this is effectively plus 6, so we could take 6 off both sides. Alrighty, and that's what the math might look like for that, and then we do the math and we get negative x equals negative 9. I don't want negative x, I want positive x on its own, so I could divide by negative 1. Divide both sides by negative 1. Let's write that out in full. Let's do the math. X equals 9. And back up to here to check. 6 minus 9 equals negative 3. Okay, so that brings us to the end of a small, quick little run through of some very simple linear equations. You should have established a really good process for doing linear equations now, and that you start with the addition and then go to the division and multiplication. Some of them will get a little bit trickier as you introduce fractions and decimals into this, but the basic process is the same. So always go back to your basic concepts and apply them and use those, and then move forward with the more complex problems. I hope this has been of some help to you in solving linear equations. I look forward to hearing from you in the comments section, or like and subscribe. If there is any concept of something in mathematics that you would like me to have a look, I can make a video and post it up for you. Cheers! See you!